Some thoughts that I have on dreaming and what I think. I grew up in a home that was a part of an apricot orchard, and it then became like part of a city. And so there were these old apricot trees, and the land, anything you planted would grow amazingly. And it was an old home from the 1890s. I don't know why I'm giving all these details about what. Anyway, just I guess drawing a picture was a Victorian home. And so Victorian homes have a lot of detail. They have a lot of woodwork, lots of detail, lots and lots and lots of detail on the inside and outside of the home. So, what I find myself doing sometimes as I fall asleep is I find myself thinking about that home with the detail of the ceilings and the way the wood work, and the inside and outside of the home. I find myself sometimes right before I go to sleep, my mind going there and thinking of looking at the walls and the detail of the walls and the home, and just going through and scanning the home. And there's something really soothing about that, possibly because it's my childhood home. There's like a soothing element to that. There's something going on there, and I'm attaching lucidity to it. So I'm going to be trying to think about my childhood home and see if I end up having a dream being there. And then seeing if, since I've attached the message that when I'm there, I'm lucid, see if I can go there. And then when I'm there, by thinking about it, thinking about the location as I fall asleep. And then when I find myself there in the dream world, see if I can become lucid, because I think I'd be connecting, like, I'm going to have a lucid dream, and then I actually have one that night, and I have a pathway to get me there. There are a couple of other things. One of the benefits I've found that of me thinking about my dreams and writing them down is that I'm able to briefly recall them as I document them, and I'm able to see activities that I do with some frequency in the dream world. And there are a couple of different things. Some are locations that I find myself in, and other things are activities that I engage in while I'm asleep. They tend to be athletic in nature. Sometimes ballet, specifically different types of turns in ballet that I will find myself doing, like piqué turns and pirouettes and just different, tours jetés. Like I am practicing them, like I'm practicing the turns in my sleep. And I'm actually practicing them. It feels like I'm actually doing them. I find that I do that quite frequently in the dream world, and so I want to attach lucidity to those events. The other thing is swimming. I love to swim, and swimming in the dream world is something that I do, and so I need to attach lucidity to see if that. So what I basically do is I identify places or activities that occur with some frequency in the dream world, and then I attach the message of lucidity to those activities. And then it makes it likely to occur. Another thing, it makes it likely for me to then question if whether I'm awake or asleep, and I'll find that I'm asleep. The one that I'm going to try pretty soon, and I'll probably, if I do it, I'll attach like a video to this. Like I'll just paste it into this video if I manage to dream of my childhood, like think of my childhood home as I fall asleep and have that soothing feeling, and then end up at that location and then end up lucid. Right here, I'll just attach it into this video if I did manage to, from the waking state, enter into the dream state and become lucid, as opposed to just becoming aware that I found myself at a location and then remembering to ask myself if I'm awake or asleep. I want to see if I can start from the waking state and go, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to think about my childhood home and see if it leads into a dream, like a full dream, and then see if being there, I can become lucid. Because if that is the case, if I can do that, I'm going to feel that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to have to see what to do with that. But that would definitely be a way to maybe even schedule lucid dreaming. All right, so it's 2 days later, and I'm attaching this video to a previous video that I recorded regarding attempting to lucid dream by purposefully thinking about my childhood home, since it's a home that it's a place where I find myself often in the dream world. It's a place where I've become lucid quite often in the dream world. But the next night I decided, okay, let me think about it. And I actually did think about it for a short period of time. It has to be something I want to do. I have to be in that so that it matches with the feeling of the home and the way I dream about it, the way I think about it sometimes. So I went ahead and thought about it very shortly. I ended up sleeping a lot. Like, I slept a really long time. I went to bed super early. I thought it was going to be a nap, but it ended up turning into sleep, like really like over 12 hours of sleep. And I woke up a little earlier than I usually wake up. And I woke up while I was dreaming. I woke up while I was having that lucid dream. The alarm went off and woke me up out of it. And I hit the snooze button, and I was able to actually go back into dreams. Not the same dream, but I was able to go back into dream state a couple times when I hit the snooze. I did become lucid. However, it was many hours, because since I had that dream right as I woke up, it was many hours after I had visualized the home, because I visualized the home as I was falling asleep. I did become lucid, and I was really excited. It was an interesting dream. At some point, I tried to throw my I had 2 purses with me, and I tried to throw them into the air to have them float, but they kept falling to the ground just like they would in the waking world. I did a couple times. It would be really neat if those locations I regularly find myself in, if they are sort of like doorways into lucidity. I do suspect that's the case. There are several dreams and activities that I do in the dream world that I can attach the message that I'm lucid when I'm doing them. And then it would be a gateway into lucidity. I said, I'm not here. None of this is none of this is in the waking world. I do think it is a place, though. Yeah, but it's not the waking world, not this place. So, and not entirely. So, yeah, and I didn't feel my body at all. I didn't feel like I was waking up, nothing like that. I did get a little excited, though. I got a little more excited than usual, but not excited in a way that would cause me to wake up. That's the update on that. And then I'm going to try again. I wasn't able to get my bags to float in the air the way I wanted to. My mom was there in the dream, and I was telling her that it was a lucid dream, and that it was a dream that we were inside of a dream, and she was smiling and nodding. And that actually makes me want to ask her. So I'm going to talk to her and ask her if she had what dream she had last night, if she remembers her dream, and just see if she remembers. I wonder if she was dreaming at the same time. So yeah. So I was able to tell my mom in this dream that it was a dream. I did talk to her. She didn't remember the dream, what she dreamt that night. I ended up in this home, and my mom was there. I didn't recognize the house from outside. I don't know what house that was. Went inside, and what happened was I found myself in a part of my childhood home. I found myself in the living room. I basically became lucid, and I was like, oh, this is a dream. And so there were several things that happened, and then I ended up in another house, and there were other family members there, and so on. I think that that's a way for me to become lucid, or maybe that's a way for my unconscious mind to communicate to me that I'm lucid and to start observing. It could have been that it was my unconscious mind's idea to do that, and I caught on. I can't say that I taught my unconscious mind that, because it could be that my unconscious mind taught me that, to identify certain places, and that those are opportunities to become lucid. I did try to make something happen. I tried to make these two bags float in the air. I do want to, when I become lucid, maybe the next time, if I remember, I want to just observe and just say, like, you know, what are you trying to tell me? Like my unconscious mind, and see like what it's showing me, what it's doing, and not try to stop or change it. I think I'm going to just see what it's trying to tell me. I think that unconscious mind communicates differently, but it does communicate. It does, you know, it communicates in this really neat way. So I'm going to try it again.